Tim here with the Jacks of all trades, and we are going to teach you guys how to wire a shed. But the first part of wiring a shed is getting wire in the pipe all the way down to the shed. In this case, we're going to wire a shed that's 161 feet away. So I'm going to use just these items as the easiest way. After all the years, people use fish tapes, and they're okay, but they're a lot of work and they're a pain, and they're kind of dangerous. They try to poke you in the eye and stuff. We are going to use a water bottle, a little bit of string, a sandwich baggie, and a shop vac to push 161 feet of wire. I'm going to show you how to do it right now. First thing you do is empty the water bottle. Next thing you do, pull out your trusty knife. I like this knife, it's my favorite. And we are going to cut the bottom off this bottle. Second thing you do is right here in the tip, you're going to take and you're going to make an incision in the flat part of the bottle. And you're going to make another incision so that it has two little flaps just like that. Once you have your two little flaps, you're going to take and bend them in. Next, we're going to take this string and we're going to string it through the hole and through the mouth of this, right here like this. Now this is the fun part. We're going to use this sandwich baggie right here, and we're going to take just the corner of it. So all we have is the corner of the sandwich baggie. Now if you come back here, you see that we're doing a 1-inch pipe right here. So you want to make sure that this piece of sandwich baggie, you want to blow it up a little bit. But you want to make sure it's enough to fit down that hole there. Once you have that, you close the one end. You take and you tie a little knot of string on here. So make sure it's nice and tight. You don't want to blow it off, otherwise you'll have to do it again. Now, there's a lot of people that when they do this, they use like what's called a little mouse. It's a little tiny sock, and they tie the string onto the little eyelet, and then they put it in the hole, and then they go to the other end of the hole and they suck it through with a shop vac. That works okay. I did it that way for years, but about 10 years ago I was working with another company, and they showed me that you can blow it, which is way easier with the sandwich bag, because those little mice that they call them, as they blow through there, they can actually suck up any water or moisture that's in that pipe from rain or however long it took you to do it. And by doing that, those socks can get stuck. They're really easy to get stuck. And you have to have a high-powered vacuum to get enough suction to suck sometimes those out of there. With what we're going to do, we're going to blow this. By blowing this, it'll go very quickly. It'll move at about Mach 5. And the reason why it works better is because this little piece of plastic here works as a sail. It'll fill the entire pipe, and the air has to escape the pipe when you're blowing it in. And this bottle, the idea is it will fit firmly around the end of this pipe, creating a perfect blow nozzle to go in the hole. But the first thing you have to do is make sure your shop vac is not set on suck, but set on blow. So let's get it set up here. We had to switch to a more rigid bottle. So we decided to switch to like a plastic sparkling water drink. I did the same thing. I cut a hole, I fed my baggie through, and I've got a spot so the air hose can fit here, and then it'll blow down. Now normally when you do this, you don't want to have the box on already, because you can set the bottle directly on top and blow it in. But because I did this, I'm going to have to add a little extra to it. So you want the air to blow straight through. So in this case, I have to pinch it to get it there. So I'm going to add a layer of electrical tape to hold it so that I can get the angle I need in this case in order to make sure that it stays on there. So when you're using electrical tape, most people don't realize it's PVC tape. You want to pull it and stretch it tight when you use it to get a tight seal. When you're fishing wire, if you don't do this, then you will find yourself struggling and wires coming unpulled and stuff when you're pulling wire. So take this PVC tape and stretch it. And always make sure you have a good layer of it, like so. See, there's no way this is going to pull off. And now I can get the angle. I stuff this as far down the hole as we can. Okay, make sure this is facing towards us. You want to make sure that the string can move freely through here, down in here, without being pinched or cut. without grabbing a corner if we can help it. Get this aimed into the hole. I have 2 powers here, so I'm going with a high signal. And if it gets caught, all you gotta do is pull back on it a little bit and it'll start to suck in. I'm not sure why this one caught so quickly. There it goes. And when it stops, it's usually because it hit the other side already. And there you have it. Once you have it all pulled through that way, you go like this, and then you can take, if you're not gonna pull it real quickly, you cut it, and you're going to want to tape it to the pipe here so that it doesn't actually fall back in. If you were having troubles blowing it in, a lot of the time it's because your bag isn't big enough to fill the entire pipe. So it isn't creating an entirely airtight seal to push the wire all the way through strong enough. So just make your corner of your sandwich baggie a little larger, and then there you go. Next, we're going to show you how to tie the wires onto here properly so they don't come off, and pull them over to our shed so we can get our shed wired. All right. When you're pulling wire, the first thing you do is get it in a spot where it can spin. In this case, I have these specialty spinners sitting on some concrete stakes, 2 and 2. You can use any piece of bar that'll fit in the spindles that you're using. A lot of the times I'll use like a 4-foot or a 6-foot A-frame ladder and run it in between the rungs so I can get the spin. You just want to make sure to keep it low if you're using a ladder so you don't topple the ladder over. The most important part of this is the setup. You want to make sure that all your wire is facing the same direction. You want to make sure that each of your spindles are coming from a back, up, and over. And not just one bar, but they all need to pull the same. That way they don't get tangled up or knotted up, and when you're in the middle of your pull, you don't have to stop. So that is how you get these going. Now I'm going to show you how to tape these onto the string to make sure that you don't lose them while you're pulling. All right, so now we're going to take the string that we have tied off and we're going to carefully untie it. When you're doing this, you're doing all the work I'm about to show you. You got to make sure not to pull on it too tight. You don't want to pull the other end of the string off. So now the first thing we need to do is we need to line these up. As you're lining up the wires, note you don't want to have them all flush tight to the end like this. If you have them all flush tight to the end and once you tape them on, it's going to make a big edge that can catch the couplings and the TAs. You don't want that. You want your wire to pull smoothly through the conduit. So you're going to want to pull them a little bit staggered, you know, so that when you tighten them all up and you have them all tightened and taped on, your tape will make an angle like a ramp, and that'll keep you from going on there. The other thing is when you go to tie your string on, you want to make sure you have plenty of connection. So you want to make sure you get at least a foot of tape on this thing with the string holding in every which way. That way you don't accidentally have a wire come loose. There's nothing worse than a wire coming loose and you have to pull the wires out, they're all tangled, and then you have to try to re-pull them through the pipe. Okay. Step 1. First, you got to tie a knot. Like I said, I come a little over a foot down. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to leave a big gap, and I'm going to tie a knot. Now, when you tie this knot, you want to twist it in such a way that it is the opposite when you pull it tight. So I came from underneath. That way, when I pull a grip and then I come back, it grabs a hold of these wires. Okay, and then I personally like to tie several knots. That's why I left such a big lead. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to tie a couple more of these knots. That one that pulls the other way, opposite of way from what I pulled the first time. See, now these got a good, nice, tight grip on here, so that these 2 knots are pulling opposite directions, so that now when I start the taping process, I know that it'll have something tight to pull against. Next, we're going to grab our electrical tape. This is our stretchy PVC tape, like I was telling you earlier in the video, and we're going to start all the way at the end of this wire, and we are going to pull it so that this wire, you want to make sure the string kind of twirls around and grabs a really good hold. And then you're going to give it a little wrap, and then you're going to suck it tight. A wrap, pull it tight. A wrap, pull it tight. A wrap, I'm stretching it as I pull. If you don't stretch the tape, then it'll stretch while you're pulling. And if it stretches while you're pulling, then your wires will come out of the pole. And I'm pulling 161 feet. The last thing I want is these wires to come out while I'm pulling and then have to pull 80 or 90 feet of this wire out and then have it tangle up, because when you pull it out, it wants to recoil like it's still on the spindle. So now, as you look right here, you can see that we have all of these wires staggered, and it gets smaller and smaller as we come down each wire. So there's less of an area for it to hit. If you have an area like this that's pretty abrupt, we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit more tape on that to make that angle a little less steep. So now when it's pulling through the couplings, it'll have more of a roll there. See, it's not so sharp, so that when it's pulling through and it has to hit this part, or when it's turning through the 90s and it's bent, it ain't grabbing the edge of the couplings or the bell ends of the pipe. Next we're gonna go ahead and push this in a little bit. Now, most people don't realize this, you can push it in pretty far. When you're pulling this, it takes 2 people. And because I'm so far away, it's definitely gonna take 2 people. You want one person here pulling and making sure nothing gets tangled, because nothing worse than getting caught on one end, not seeing and yanking the string out, and pushing it down, because the further away, the more to help. And then on the other end, we'll take you over there and show you that as well. We will be pulling the string out, and then the one guy on one end will be pulling it out, and the other guy will be pushing it in. I'm gonna show you a trick to making it a little easier on your hands for pulling the string through. Let's head over to the other side and check it out. Okay, now we're at the other end by the shed that we want to wire. This is the other end of our pipe. And I did not strap this down yet, because I want to be able to have a little bit of angle on it when I'm pulling the wire through. Because as you pull, if you're coming up straight, you could strip or cut the wire on the edge of this. Now, what you want to do is grab and pull, but this thin little string pulling and pulling will start to tear your hand up. If the wire gets kind of hard and taut to pull, the key is to use a hammer. So you take your hammer, you make one wrap around, you hold it with your hand, and then you can pull up on the string, and then slide it down, and then pull up on the string, and then slide it down and pull up on the string. And you will do this until the wire comes through from the other side. Now remember, you'll need somebody pushing the wire from the other side and making sure it doesn't get tangled. All right, let's get this thing pulled, and then we'll show you what's up. Okay, now that we got all the wires done, first of all, you always want to make sure you have enough wire. I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, buddy, we had enough wire by about 10 inches on this one. You want to make sure you always have enough wire, because like I said, you don't want to have to pull it out. But now that we have enough wire, we got enough hanging out of the box here, we're going to go ahead and cut them all even. And then I like to tie a knot in them. And the reason why I like to tie a knot in them is in case something happens on the other end, the wires don't get pulled back in the in the hole. Because they get pulled back in the hole, you have to redo this whole process again. I think it's, it takes 20 minutes, a half hour sometimes, or maybe longer. So you want to make sure you get all of these in here, knotted off big enough they don't pull very easily. And unless you're Now, if you're going to be hooking them up, then wire nuts will keep you from going back in there. But in this case, I'm not ready. I still got to pull wire to the house, and I don't have that wire with me. I won't be able to pull it till Monday. So that is how you pull wire through conduit through a shed. Like I said, we just pulled 161 feet of wire. I know it's a little noisy in the background, but if you stay tuned to the next videos, I'm going to show you how to actually wire the shed and how to wire this all into the panel and how it all worked. Thank you, and if you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for all the crazy stuff the Jacks of all trades are doing.